that hearing. She joins me live. Walk me through that decision to deny bail, Natasha.
Certainly, Suhana. So Tamara Lich's initial bail hearing was over the weekend on Saturday. At that time, there was a promise of surety that she would return to Alberta and stop all of her connections with the protest movement. So the judge decided to wait a couple of days to make the end decision. And so, as you said, they've denied Tamara Lich bail at this time and saying that her detention, her continued detention, is justifiable. There were a number of things that the justice went through, which included the fact that there has been a tremendous amount of harm and damage done to the residents of Ottawa. It has impeded their public safety and security. And also a reminder, this woman, Tamara Lich, a self-proclaimed leader of the Freedom Convoy or this convoy movement, is facing two very serious charges. There's one count to commit mischief and specifically counsel to commit mischief, and the other is to obstruct the use and enjoyment of property. That's specifically referring to downtown Ottawa, impeding people from getting to their businesses or being able to sleep or enjoy the downtown community. So what she said was, even after Lich was arrested, which happened on last Thursday, she was still counseling others to commit what was essentially breaking the law, telling them, quote, to hold the line, to not give in, to not go home, and to continue the protest movement. So therefore, the justice said there's a lack of faith in her and lack of reason to believe that she would not continue those activities, even if she was granted bail and went back to Alberta. So there were a number of things that had to be considered. The likelihood that she would reoffend. Clearly, the judge thought that there was a high likelihood of that. A flight risk had to be considered. Now, the issue is that while there was some sort of surety being presented, and when the question came up of how she would return back to Alberta, there was a question of an unknown source, an unnamed individual coming through with a private jet, escorting her back to Alberta. And none of this seemed completely plausible or made enough sense. So the judge said, look, there's enough reasons to keep holding you. And so as a result, she's going to stay in prison until her trial happens. And to that point, the judge said, if you're found guilty, you're facing lengthy terms of imprisonment. So that's where things stand with Tamara Lich.
And what's happening at the bail hearing of another leading protester, Natasha, PatKing?
So PatKing, this is fascinating, Suhana. It's still ongoing. The Tamara Lich hearing wrapped up in about 25 minutes. This has been going on for more than an hour and a half. And so what you initially had was the Crown presenting all of their list of the evidence they're presenting for why bail should be denied, and have played a series of videos of showing PatKing telling people to break the law, to hold the line, to lie to the police, how to manipulate where they're staying in the hotels to circumvent where the police are telling people you can't come into this particular part of Ottawa. Also videos of some of his older, what some would describe as racist rants, anti-Chinese sentiment, anti-Jewish sentiment, talking about the only way that this will end is that it will end with bullets. Incredibly difficult and vile images and sounds that were played in the court so that the judge can make his decision. Now, another bit of oddness that happened during the PatKing hearing is that he initially started off with two lawyers. They've said, we're no longer in line with his defense. A third lawyer has come in and the first two have left. There's all kinds of activity happening. There is a woman named Carrie Comex who is offering surety of $50,000. That's essentially half the value of her home. And when asked, how long have you known PatKing to offer up half your home's value? She said 4 weeks. She's known him for the duration of this protest. She went from Alberta to Ottawa with PatKing, traveled with him. So at this point right now, just before I started speaking with you, they were still trying to figure out why this individual is willing to put up so much money for a person she's only known for about a month. So this will be ongoing. It doesn't seem like it's going to wrap up anytime soon, Suhana. So we'll continue to update you as it moves along.
Thank you, Natasha. CBC's Natasha Fatta in Toronto.